Hey everyone, my name is Vin and I'm making a game called Long Gone. Welcome to the Hillfort. It's an office. Okay, where to start? I guess the best place to start is to sort of explain what the hell Long Gone even is. There's been a lot of people that have sort of followed the project over the past couple of years that have, been really excited about it. But I understand there's a lot of people out there that have just never seen this thing before. So it's probably best that I sort of explain what it is that I'm actually making. Long Gone is an adventure game, but it's not just like any other adventure game. It's not an action adventure game. It's not a point and click adventure game. I kind of want it to be this hybrid mix of a few different things. So if you imagine something like Gone Home meets The Last of Us meets Another World, that's sort of what I'm going for. And the story is sort of the main driver of the game. And the story revolves around this survivor that's sort of separated from his main group, and he's trapped in this neighborhood. But as he's going through and sort of looking for batteries of all things to sort of recharge his walkie-talkie so he can get back in touch with his people, he's exploring, well, the player is exploring, I should say, the lives of people that are no longer there, hence the name Long Gone. As you go through this neighborhood, you'll sort of discover this interconnected web of all of these stories, like people's secrets, like how they sort of, what they think of each other, and just different social commentaries on life and how silly it all is, like sort of in context of, the end of the world. And this is sort of important because a lot of people that have seen the game have sort of had this assumption that, hey, it's a zombie survivor game, right? Like Project Zomboid, it's going to be like one of those games. Like you just need to rummage through, find guns, find bullets, all that sort of stuff. And that's not the case with this game. When you do come across a zombie, it's actually there as a puzzle mechanic rather than, just another thing that you have to shoot through to get to the next area. And I know this might be slightly disappointing to some people that want that game, but I hope that this new take is exciting too. So the question which I get a lot is, where are you in production? Like how far into this thing? You've been working on this thing a few years, Vin. How is it actually going? And this is where I have to sort of go into a lot of, caveats and stuff. But basically, I started the game about 3 years ago, just as a small little side project while I was working my main gig. I was working as a senior concept artist at Ubisoft. However, I did make a huge mistake when I first started the project, and that was I showed it off and talked about it probably a little bit too early. I started sharing videos on TikTok just to sort of show the updates and how the game was going right away, even though it looked really rudimentary to me, like it was in grey box, the only finished thing was the character. It blew up. But since then, a lot of things have changed, and the game was never really worked on full-time at any point. So I say the game was started 3 years ago, but really it's only had about 6 to 8 months of actual production time, I would say. But that's now changing. Starting actually this week, I've switched over to being full-time on this game, and that's super exciting. But along the way, along these 3 years, I've immigrated twice. I've moved from the US to Canada. I was in the UK for a while, and then I moved back to the US. But even this year, the job that I actually moved to the US for, I got laid off in the middle of the year. I had to go back home to England when my mother passed away. Been all over the place. I've released several games since then, not only under Hillfort, but like in other places too. But now all those things are out of the way. The attention of this game has sort of become to a point where I can't ignore it anymore. Like it's like after 26,000 people have wishlisted the game, it's hard to focus on anything else when there's this mammoth that needs my full attention. All of this is to say that even though the game is feature complete, like the inventory system works, we have most of the core pillars complete. We can inspect items, pick them up, we can trigger cutscenes, all of this sort of stuff. It's still early days for the actual content of the game. So that means, the objects that you pick up in the world, the actual environment, things like the writing, all of the voice acting, all of that takes time and money. So that's sort of what we're going to be heading towards next. So next, what I need to figure out is how to do this a little bit more long term, and not just me as well. So currently I am a solo dev. I've done everything on the game by myself so far, all of the artwork, all of the animation, all of the coding, all the writing. But because of the size of the game, I do need an extra set of hands, and that's going to obviously require resources and money and time and things like that. So this is the timeline. By spring of 2025, we're going to look to get a demo out, and then with that demo, we're going to get attention to try and get a Kickstarter going, or talk to investors, or talk to publishers. None of these things might even happen. So if that happens, then the project could take a long time, but it's never going to stop. But if the project does get funded, then the game can get complete to a high standard a lot faster. But don't worry, all of this isn't getting done in a vacuum or anything. I'm being super open about how I'm actually developing the game, and you can actually join us on Twitch. Like, I stream there almost every single day, and I'm working on the demo out in the open. So if you've got any questions or you're curious about how the game's getting made, you're very welcome to join us. Thank you for visiting the game dev communities. Yeah, absolutely. It's cool that you guys are dropping in and stuff. No guarantees. Oh, thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate it. Yeah, I've only just started streaming. Like, this is literally my first month. I'm still using it as an excuse when I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But the community for game dev stuff on Twitch is really growing now. Like, as I'm sure you know, you're probably ducking in and out of this sort of stuff to check it out. But yeah, it's been really cool. Of course, there's other stuff as well. So I'm going to be doing these devlogs. I don't know if every month, maybe every 6 weeks or something, but I'm going to try and keep up to date with it as much as possible to keep everyone in the loop in the run up to the spring and just keep people excited about the project, because I'm really hyped about the fact that I'm full time on it now. As for the devlogs, or DoGameDev, I'm going to continue with this sort of format, and it's going to be a bit more of a documentary style rather than the typical sort of YouTube video, which is half tutorial, half devlog. It's very much to document the progression of this project, so that's what I'm going to stick to. But saying that, if you do have any questions or anything like that, then feel free to subscribe, comment, let me know. Either contact me through Discord or any of the other social medias, and I'll be happy to sort of include it in the next episodes. But yeah, thanks for joining me, guys. Again, please subscribe if you're into this, and I look forward to getting to episode 1, where there's a lot of stuff that's happened in the game, and I'm really excited to dig into the details. So I'll see you there.